Today we talk about sharing the road. Hello legends and super legends, welcome to Veloharmony. In today's video, with the incident that occurred with one of our super legends that we talked about in the live session, being hit by a car while in a group ride, I wanted to talk about what sharing the road means. Most of you have probably seen signs that has like the triangular yellow signs that says caution, basically it's a caution sign. It has the bicyclist symbol in there. And then I remember a legend had mentioned on the channel that I think somewhere in Michigan they have a sign that says cyclists may use entire lane. Down there in Texas we have these signs that says share the road. They're everywhere. And what exactly does that mean? We have offenders on both sides, meaning we have people that ride bikes that don't really understand what sharing the road means. And of course we have people that operate motor vehicles that don't understand what sharing the road means. So what it means is that you're out on a public road. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to anyone. It is available for everyone's use. So what that means is you need to be cognizant of the fact that there are other road users. Don't go out there chatting two abreast because the law allows you to use the road. The law does not say that you should impede the flow of traffic. You have to recognize that not only is the bicycle very vulnerable as a vehicle, but you travel slow, so you're a slower moving vehicle. Same thing when you're in a car. You've seen where cars have a hazard, and so they turn on their hazard lights, and usually they will either use the right lane, or some of them will even drive on the shoulder or whatever, because they're getting their car someplace and it cannot travel at the normal speeds that it usually does. Now, for cyclists, we travel at slower speeds, 15, 18 miles an hour, whatever, which equates to about let's say 30 kilometers an hour generally, anywhere between 25 and 30 kilometers an hour, 15 to 18 miles an hour, thereabouts. So you're moving slower than the other traffic on the road. So what it means is that depending on the volume of traffic and the speed at which they travel on that particular road, you need to pick your spots where you have conversations. And when you are having conversations, try to use a smaller portion of the lane and try to ride two abreast where it's sensible, meaning that don't go on a busy two-lane road and ride two abreast if it's just the two of you. If it's a big group and it's not safe to share that lane, fine, you take it up. But you should always be aware that wherever possible, you should do single file on a two-lane road so that the drivers can pass you easier. We talk about it in our group rides all the time. By doing that, you create what we call goodwill among all road users. So you're not just being a jerk because the law says you can use the road, and that you're going slower, you got a bunch of cars queuing up behind you, but you're gonna take your right to use the road. That's just not being courteous, okay? Same thing on the drivers that operate motor vehicles. Sharing the road means you don't own that lane, you don't have a right to that lane. So if there is a cyclist or somebody riding a horse or whatever, you need to give them enough room when you go by. In Houston, the ordinance for the city limit said a meter, about 3 feet. So a lot of drivers are not aware of that ordinance. That's their issue. Ignorance is no excuse. But the bottom line is, if you operate a vehicle, just as you give a parked car a lot of room when you go by, give even more room to another road user, whether they're riding a motorcycle or a bicycle. I rarely see a driver pass a motorcyclist in the same lane. I don't think I've ever seen that. So I don't understand why they feel that they have to pass in our lanes. A lot of times, even when they have the room, they don't pass in their lanes. So sharing the road operates both ways. We have the signs in different parts of the area directed at all road users. That's what they mean when they say share the road. It is directed at automobile drivers, it's directed at cyclists, it's directed at people riding horses, runners, whoever. So when you're out there and you're riding, be aware that there are other people using the road. You've seen us where we'll be riding and then one person will get on like a little piece of the shoulder that's not exactly designed for us to use necessarily, but because we want to chat and take up the same amount of real estate, we do that to be courteous. So that's what it means. So pay attention to that when you're out there, and think in terms of the impression you're going to leave on the driver you encounter for the next cyclist they come across. You know, you need to be cognizant of the laws, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to unclip at every stop sign. What it means is you need to be prepared to stop. If there's nothing there, you check, you go through, that's fine. That's acceptable. But don't just blast through an intersection because you're on a bicycle blindly because you startle the driver. I see a lot of cyclists doing that. We need to obey the rules of the road if we want them to take us seriously, okay? So that's what sharing the road means. Both sides, be aware of that. Don't be chatting over there at 12 miles an hour and people behind you. Queue up so they can get around. They appreciate that. Or wave them around when it's safe. You see us do that, okay? So with the weekend coming up, get out there, get your K's in, be safe, first of all, and let nothing stop you.